Good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening for the Tecnoglass lecture. The Tecnoglass is our sponsor for the themed series we have every term. They provide us the resources to sustain a very high standard, but also to have the luxury of curating the series. Thank you, Veruska, for curating this year. I'd like to also thank you to our sponsors for supporting us. And Veruska started this new tradition which brings the student to the podium to introduce the speaker and the series. And we all appreciated this new practice and we are adopting it. So now I call the students to perform their duties.
Thank you, Dean. Good evening, everyone. My name is Deja Dominguez. I am a first-year Master of Architecture graduate student, and I'll be introducing the Fall 2025 Tecnoglass lecture series, Housing for All. Across the globe, an extraordinary position is unfolding to re-envision the very foundations of daily life, dwelling, stability, and dignity, so they are not scarce commodities, but shared cultural achievements. In this pivotal moment of climatic flux, geopolitical transformation, and shifting social horizons, architecture can be both sanctuary and catalyst, giving form to more just, generous, and imaginative ways of living together. Housing for All emerges from the conviction that dwelling must do more than enclose. It must elevate, inspire, and respond. As Jane Jacobs reminds us, cities have the capability of providing something for everybody, only because and only when they are created by everybody. Embodying this ethos, the 5 invited practices unite intellectual rigor with humane empathy, marrying formal precision to the intricate rhythms of everyday life. Each architect articulates a unique dialect of pace, material, and light, yet all share a devotion to crafting spaces at once, intimate and civic, abstract and rooted. This autumn, the Tecnoglass lecture series foregrounds their work, architecture that resists the glare of spectacle and listens attentively to context and community. Together, their projects offer not merely shelter, but meaning, proposing new forms of belonging, intimacy, and collective flourishing. During this lecture series, we will be learning from Philippe Wyssen, Switzerland, Elizabeth Whitaker, the United States, Jean-Christophe Quinton, France, Iris Mates, Portugal, and Coldefi, France. Together, these 5 voices provide a compelling response to the call for housing for all. Their architecture acknowledges that housing is not only a right, but a condition for human flourishing. This series is both an homage and an inquiry. It invites us to reflect on the emotional, political, and cultural resonance of the space we call home. It challenges us to reconsider housing not as a unit to be replicated, but as a living framework for belonging, for beauty, and for everyday life shared. Thank you.
It is a great pleasure to welcome you to the 3rd lecture of the Fall 2025 Tecnoglass lecture series. Tonight, we are honored to host Jean-Christophe Quinton, a remarkable architect whose work and reflections have profoundly shaped contemporary architectural discourse in France and beyond. To practice architecture is in many ways to offer people the possibility of feeling and ease with the surroundings, with others and with themselves. It is to imagine and shape places where the full spectrum of human activity can unfold. No matter how intense or immersion in a space may be, architecture continually invites us on an existential journey, one that prompts us to belong, be present, and feel alive. Jean-Christophe Quinton's work is grounded in this conviction. Through each project, he examines how the body interacts with space, exploring the relationships between interior and exterior, material and structure, and geometry and experience. His practice is defined by meticulous attention to the formal rules and internal orders that allow a project to fully reveal itself, what he has called the search for the immediate strangeness of forms. At the heart of his approach is a workshop culture where architecture is explored through drawings and models at a human scale. These representations, from the society of rooms to the figure of the site, from all-in-one linear drawings to meticulous diagrams, are not simply tools, but integral parts of architectural thinking. Drawing, in his view, is both a means of observation and invention, a place of freedom within a world of constraints. Jean-Christophe Quinton was born in 1972 and graduated from the École nationale supérieure d'architecture de Paris, Belleville. In 2000, he founded his own practice in 2003 and was awarded in the New Albums of Young Architects in 2004. In 2010, he received a special mention in the Chernikov Prize alongside his practice. He has taught at various institutions, and from 2015 to 2024, he directed the École nationale supérieure d'architecture de Versailles, where he fostered a culture of rigor, exploration, and dialogue. His monograph, Towards the Immediate Strangeness of Forms, received the City of Brie's Grand Prix, the Architecture book, in 2017. And since 2019, he has been a full member of the Académie d'Architecture. His built work, writings, and drawings are celebrated for their clarity, precision, and poetic engagement with forms, context, and inhabitation. Please join me in warmly welcoming Jean-Christophe Quinton to the University of Miami School of Architecture.
Good evening, everyone. Dear Dean, dear Rudolph, dear Veruska, thank you a lot for your invitation. I'm truly, we have a problem with the machine. It's okay, check. I'm truly happy to and proud to be here with you tonight. Dear Veruska, thank you. Your invitation means a lot of me, both personally and professionally. I believe it's very important to share with you a few convictions I have about architecture and housing. I believe it's very important to share because you all know that the great mission of architecture is to make the world livable. The world is not easy to live without architecture. It never has been, and it never will be. This is perhaps one of the most beautiful roles of architecture is to make this world a place where we can live together. And I believe architecture can accomplish that mission when it helps to simplify the complexity of the world. And architecture solves complexity when it creates clear and meaningful relationship between buildings and nature, between buildings and the city, and between the buildings themselves. And I think the mission of architecture is to build beautiful relationship with all the elements around us and with the basic elements of architecture. So I'm sorry, I'm French, I have a terrible accent. These basic elements become powerful resources for designing. In recent years, I've realized that by exploring the specific resources of architecture, we can become truly creative. We can answer complex questions. We can create strong qualities. And we can create spaces that offer rich, sensitive experiences for users. And in this image, you can see 12 resources. These 12 main resources of architecture that I used in my practice to design housing. They can't help us design better. Alors, these resources are 1, the room, 2, the assembly, 3, the plan, 4, the section, 5, the geometry, 6, the space, 7, the inside and outside relationship, 8, the measure and the scale, 9, the site, 10, the rule, 11, the figure or the strong form, and 12, the construction and the materiality. Each of these resources is always available. Each can guide us when designing feels difficult. Each can help to find your way and regain zest and energy. As you see, each resources are its own principle of representation. I would like to show you one example by resource. One, the room. I often say I'm an architect who loves rooms. And when you love rooms, they suddenly become powerful, surprising, and unexpected. It's a new world opening in front of you. There are many types of rooms. Rooms of fire, rooms of water, rooms for movement, servant rooms, partitioned rooms, outdoor rooms. And in my agency, we are building up a collection. We are trying to make large lists of pieces. Take, for example, rooms of water. Even the smallest bathroom can become an adventure, a gift for its users. When we design these spaces with care, where the body is bare, fragile, in contact with water, light, and materials, we create deep architectural experiences. A bathroom should never be a neglected little space. A water room should never be a forgotten room. And we have to look at the rooms with the same sensitivity as any great room in a house. And when you like this room, this little room, you can imagine new little spaces around the naked body. Each bathroom becomes a new specific architectural adventure. The second resource is the assembly, a very important resource for me. The rooms are social beings. They seek relationship with other rooms. Every project, for me, is an opportunity to find a new way of bringing them together. In each project, I research a new specific connection between the rooms. I'll give you an example from Bordeaux, a city in the south of my country. We had to design a 6 square social housing building, 24 meters by 24 meters. It's not easy to design a good project in this geometry. So we organized a room around this first room in the center of the project, and we do an entrance, a living room, a little living room, then a large living room, and a balcony. And around the same perspective, then this sequence is the spatial structure of the housing. The other rooms integrate this structure: the bathroom, the bedroom, the kitchen, and the bedroom. And this simply assembly created beautiful, livable spaces. The rooms, of course. And you can see the quality of the space. This project is a social housing, and for me it's very important to share with you the strategy with the structure and with the space to have a good quality. Architecture is not only a question of money, it's a question of culture, it's a question of sensibility and strategy. And it's a question of dignity too. And the same project and this landscape. And another resource, the plan. Louis Kahn once said, the plan is a society of rooms. Every plan expresses that kind of society we want to create. Behind every plan, there's a will to make rooms live well together. That's why each plan is unique and each building has its own character. On this slide, we can see 12 housing building forms. Behind each form, behind each plan, there is one specifically assembly of rooms. And of course, even small homes can produce remarkable forms when their plans are clear and generous. I would like now to share 3 examples. In this case, the form of the plan comes from the shape of the living room. It's 3 inside faces towards the gardens. And in this slide, you can feel the relationship between the plan and the identity of the building. All these examples are social housing. In this case, the form of the plan comes from the shape of the living room and the bedroom. They are pentagonal. This shape creates many special views between the rooms. This apartment seems to be bigger than it is. And the plan organizes a facade with many different parts, so you can feel a domestic scale in a large building. And in this case, you can see the room at the head of the building. They are curved, and they give the personality to this building. And another resource to conceive, to design, of course, the section. Thinking in section gives form to space. It allows us to bring air, light, and variety into our projects. I would like to show you a research by design about housing and skyscraper. Sorry, It's not the good image. Each level in this building become a specific world, defined by the shape of its floor and its ceiling. You can see the level of the fruit trees and the level of the pine forest, and now the level of the shared baths. It's an image of the ground floor, an image on the shared bath, and we can see, of course, the relationship between the ground and the ceiling. The pine forest, and each level is defined with its section, and now you can see the many housing levels around all the present spaces, the precedent spaces. Another resource, the geometry. Geometry creates order, strong, readable relationship between the different parts of a building. In Corsica, an island in the south of France, we designed a small housing cluster. It is organized around an equilateral triangle, and each house is folded. It has both a private corner and a shared corner. The triangle itself disappears, and this system creates a landscape, a soft, a poetic landscape. Together, these homes form a small, harmonious village. For me, geometry is important because you know the triangle disappears, but the relationship between these buildings are very strong because of the triangle. Housing for all means also housing together. And another resource, the space. Sometimes space appears when we solve a problem. A new example in Corsica, in my parents' house in the village Vico. The ground floor of this building, of this house, was dark. There are low natural light. And by cutting a little part of the first floor, we let light of the south fall in the room. That small move completely transformed the feeling of the house and of this room. The ground level is full of sunlight. It suddenly expanded towards the light. And another resource, the inside and the outside. Every project, I think, must build a strong relationship with its environment. And we recently built a small wooden theater facing the Château de Versailles, one of the most beautiful sites in the world. This site is particular because there are two landscapes in the same site. An horizontal landscape with the chateau and a vertical landscape with the trees of the Avenue de Paris. And the project, as you can see, has two openings. a wide horizontal windows framing the stone landscape of the chateau, and a vertical one framing the tall trees of Avenue de Paris. The plan and the section are deducted of the windows. The shape is a deduction of the landscape. Architecture doesn't cut you off from the world. It amplifies your relationship to it. You can see the two windows inside towards the Château de Versailles, and the space is very special because the space is vertical and horizontal at the same time. It's a strange experience. Of course, we need to think about the Windows blackout system and the Windows closing system. And just with this question, how can we design the details of windows against the wind, against the water, and against the sunlight? Suddenly, we can design, we can create many shapes, many forms of opening. You can see the opening with the system against the light, with the shadows of the light, of the sunlight. And now the door, and another door with the shadows. The different system to open and close the door. And as you can see, there are many possibilities of use. Now, another resource, the measure and the human scale. Whatever the scale of a building, we must never forget the human measure. The strongness of the architect is to think with all the scales without never forget the human scale. And we designed a mountain hut where each cell is just big enough for a body, a mattress, and a window. The cells are placed on top of each other. They are prefabricated, and as you show this building, you can see the ground floor is built with the local stones, and you can see at the top there is a rainwater cistern. You can see also the bathroom, the measure of the body inside the wall, inside the wall, here, and here. And when a walker arrives, he crosses different spaces. The building seems to be like a totem. You can feel the scale of the sails, the entrance. You can see also the... Comment on dit échelle? Merci. And you can see inside the cell and the relationship with the nature. Another resource to design, the site. I believe every project must come from its site. Architecture should never be abstract. It should always be situated. In Corsica, again, we designed a house where each room faces a specific mountain peak. The living towards the rotondo. The second part of the living towards the sposata. The kitchen towards the incinosa. The entrance, a bedroom towards the liamone. The entrance, another room with a bedroom towards the cuma. Of course, in Corsica, the walls are very stiff because of the heat, and the roof, the form of the roof confirms the direction of the mountain. Each part with a mountain peak. And the form of this house is not a composition. It's a deduction from the site itself. Each room towards a mountain. And this form is not a composition like an artist. It's very precisely a deduction of the site. Each windows with one mountain. You can see the structure of the roof. The cuma, the mountain behind the house. Inside each room with one mountain. And the bathroom again has a little architecture that welcomes the naked body. And in this last image, you can feel the specific relationship between the inside and the outside, and the strangeness of the form of the sunlight inside the house. A new resource to conceive, to help us to explore architecture, the rule. Sometimes a simple rule can solve a complex problem, and often the rule gives a strong and strange identity to the project. Each rule is created for each project. The nature of the rules are very rich and different. In a social housing project near Paris, we wanted balconies for every apartment. But regulations limited how far we could extend towards the street. And so we folded the facade inward, then outward again, creating a zigzag that formed balconies within the rule. That fold became the building's identity and gave quality to every apartment. We are making models. Making models was very important. Without models, I think I am blind. Models say the truth. Models show you the truly architectural qualities of your ideas. And sometimes a model tells us it's not a good idea. Models show you the qualities of the object you have designed. This model doesn't show a theoretical idea. This model shows you the immediate experience of architecture. And now the real building with this balcony, concrete balconies. You can feel the identity of the building because of this form, the quality of each apartment, and the building in the city. Some details. And another resource, the figure or the strong form. I like the strangeness of these basic volumes. They contain many strong possibilities, and all the users can understand and feel the architectural qualities of this form. I think we have to design architecture for all. And it's important for me that the experience of architecture is very direct. We cannot explain at the user how they can feel or understand the architecture. Architecture has to be direct. And for this project in Corsica, we used a cross-shaped plan. This geometry allowed each room to open specially towards the landscape. Each level is a specific situation for the windows. This on the first room, the windows are placed opposite each other. And on the second floor, the windows are placed next to each other. And the comeback of the bathroom again. And the last resource tonight, the construction and the materiality. Finally, the structure and the material, and the materiality, give a project its depth and truth. In Paris, we built social housing in stone in one of the city's most elegant districts. Building in stone gave dignity to social housing and continuity to the Parisian street. The shape of this building is a deduction. In Paris, the streets are very continuous. It's a specific identity of Paris. I think housing in Paris has to respect this urban fact. But it's not easy in this case because the building around the parcel are not in the same plane. This building, this facade, and this facade are not in the same plane. It's not easy question. So we are looking from a solution. Like that is not a good solution. Like that is not a good solution. But we add an intuition with the curve. With the curve, each facade seems to be in the same place. And we know that there are 3 rooms in this facade. So 3 rooms, so 3 curves. Then we should a good assembly of room. The stair, the entrance, and the room, and around the other rooms. At the top of the building, a large living room, and the other rooms. And the materiality and the form of the building with the stones. Each stone of the facade is preciously drawn. And with digital tools, we carved each block with minimal waste, combining old material with modern precision. You can see a specific stone. The name is cul de lampe in French. The geometry is a specific geometry. You like this stone here? Between the first level, the ground level, and the first level. And you see the building in the street. You can't imagine that this facade and this facade are not in the same plane. It's a Parisian street. It is Paris. From far, the building disappears into the street. But close, the building has its personality. Housing for all is possible, and the stone gives dignity to this building. You can feel the space inside when you are in the middle of the building. Because of the assembly of rooms, you can feel the street, you can feel the light. We are inside and outside at the same time. And you can feel the shapes of the curves, and this shape is deducted from the site. And the last image, and the last one. If you believe in architecture, if you use its own resources with intelligence and care, then architecture can solve many problems. Victor Hugo, a great French writer from the 19th century, once said, "A building is defined by its use and its beauty. Use belongs to the owner, but beauty belongs to everyone." Thank you very much. And sorry for my terrible accent. I hope you understand something.
Thank you very much. Merci, Jean-Christophe. My name is Delaney Etienne. I'm a first year in the Master of Architecture program here at UM, and I'll be guiding us through some questions to end out the night. We'll be opening up the floor if there are any questions now.
Well, Verushka Vaskun has certainly organized a fantastic lecture. The work is so beautiful. I'm curious if you're exploring printed concrete because of the wall thickness and some of the forms and the fluidity that it might offer. Have you taken a look at the robots that pour concrete and allow you a lot of flexibility in sculpture?
I need to translate, sorry.
Je veux savoir si vous avez regardé la façon de faire l'imprimateur de béton, printed concrete. Il y a un robot qui font le pour, ils vont mettre le béton dans un petit nozzle. C'est très précis. C'est pas nécessaire d'avoir le formwork. Ça commence aux États-Unis, en Austin, Texas. Il y a des Portugais qui le commencent. Il y a des murs très, très grosses avec beaucoup d'occasions de faire la sculpture avec l'architecture comme vous faites.
Oh, thank you for this question. I think I'm very close to Louis Kahn about the question of materiality. For me, the first question for the materiality is to ask to the materiality what she likes. And the technology of the new of this machine is for me less important than the question of the nature of the materiality. But I think it's a good way to make research by design. In my case, it's not the case. I don't know if my question is clear. My answer is clear.
Any other questions?
Thank you. Hello, thank you for the outstanding lecture. My question is specifically on the second and third resource, assembly and plan. So specifically, you showed very dynamic diagrams and examples to illustrate the relationship. My question is, in one of your examples, I think you showed in one diagram central hearth, and then it kind of expanded from there. Do you always design from the middle space and then expand outward? Or is that just a case of that scenario? How do you approach building the plan and the assembly between each room? Thank you.
I need to translate, sorry. I'm not sure to understand.
Parlait d'un de vos bâtiments qui commence par, je crois que c'était la cuisine, et qui expand into different rooms. And il demandait si c'était ça votre design approach ou si ça dépendait du site ou de l'endroit.
It depends. I give you another example from the question of the housing and the assembly. We were in Paris, and in this building, the assembly is with pentagonal rooms, and with this shape of rooms, we can create the domestic part, domestic section in the in this building. Sometimes the first thing is the assembly and the room, the relationship between the room. Sometimes it's the site. Sometimes it's another resource that we use. In each case, in each project, we use one of these 12 resources. So we don't know at the beginning which resources we use. It's clear?
We have another question over here.
Thank you for a beautiful lecture. It's a nice marriage of science, math, formulas with a consideration to the natural environment. We see a theme of light that you bring to all your projects. Other than light, what is another consideration that you see in all your projects?
Elle a dit que vous travaillez beaucoup avec la lumière, surtout la lumière naturelle. Et elle voulait vous demander quelles autres considérations avez-vous qui restent dans tous les projets que vous faites, peu importe le projet?
All these resources are in each project. The human scale, the measure of the core, ergonomy. It's important in each project. You say the light, but in each project, the structure is a question. In each project, the measure is a question. In each project, all the resources are a question. But what I like in my situation is that these resources help me all the time. And today I was with Florian, and the student, and I feel that these resources can help us, can help you when it's difficult, when the world is very complex, and I think it's possible to look for a way with these resources.
How much time do we have left? How many more questions can we get? Okay. Are there any more questions?
A question, Rodolphe.
I don't think I will require a translation. So you used the word dignity many times. And actually, recently I received a book from a French writer, who's an architectural theorist. The book is called Architecture and Dignity. So I'm wondering, is this a loaded term now that carries more resonance, meaning in the architectural discourse, maybe emerging in France? Or is it just an innocent use of the term?
Just the end.
Est-ce que c'est le mot, vous l'utilisez couramment, innocemment, ou est-ce qu'il est chargé de signification dans le discours architectural en France?
In French, and then you know there are today many young French architects in the world with a style. We say économie de moyens. Économie de moyens.
Economy of means.
Economy of means. For me, the best thing, the best aspect of the human being is the capacity of to be together. And we need to have a place for all. And today it's not easy. We need to be empathetic. The difficulty of the world today is that the world is sectioned, is cut. There are many communities, and we need to find a way that all the community can be together. And dignity for me is to try to say the other are good person, are good. Sorry, it's not easy. Je vais répondre en français, puis vous allez traduire. Je crois que l'architecture peut faire que l'architecture aide à être mieux à soi, à être mieux au monde et à être mieux aux autres. Et l'expérience de l'architecture, à travers ce rapport aux autres, apporte de la dignité là où elle a disparu. It's not easy.
Okay. So, when I say I mean Jean-Christophe. I think that architecture can make you yourself feel better, can make the people around you and the world around you feel better. And
not feel better, to become a better person.
Yes.
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 It's true.
And it is in that Jean-Christophe finds this dignity through architecture.
The dignity comes from actually being better or becoming better in our relation with other people. So this is where the dignity is.
Dignity helps us to accept the difference.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for the amazing questions. Have a great night.
Thank you a lot.